Yo, what is up, guys? It's Cone back here again today with another video. This is going to be another kind of rant thing. I don't think it's going to be super long. Going to be kind of similar to the SGA video I dropped a couple days ago where I ranted for about 8 or 9 minutes talking about why SGA isn't getting traded and why all the people suggesting on Twitter that Shea is getting traded just don't understand what the Thunder are doing or how good SGA is. It's not going to be quite as passionate about that because obviously the Thunder are my team and SGA is my favorite player. But I want to talk about why people hate Giannis. This is something that I've never really understood. I've never really understood the hate of NBA players in general, unless it's like a dirty player or something like that. Like Giannis is just out there playing basketball, and there are people like that genuinely despise him and wish that he fails and do whatever they can to diminish his accomplishments. It happens a lot. It's honestly kind of just a consequence of being successful and of being an all-time great player. A lot of people, like I guarantee you, just heard me say Giannis is an all-time great player and have already gone down to the comments to say, Giannis an all-time great, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. Because that's what happens. When players become great, especially young guys, start to establish themselves in that all-time great conversation, which, by the way, Giannis has done so with 2 MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, and almost a finals appearance if he wins 2 more games in this Eastern Conference Finals series. Giannis is quickly building an argument to be a top 25-30 player of all time. At the age of 26, he has been really successful, and despite that, the conversation is nowhere near what it should be about the way that Giannis is continuing to expand his resume. What I mean is that mainly there are 2 parties I can talk about here. The people on Twitter, which are the people who I mainly interact with when I'm talking basketball because I have a way bigger platform on there than I have on here. Go follow me on Twitter at 3_Cone if you don't already. I tweet on there a lot, live tweet during the NBA games, and I post notifications about all these videos. So that's one way to make sure you don't miss out on them. The other way is to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, why don't you do that? And then the other side of it is the national media. I hate talking about the national media because they just do things to get attention, and I hate giving them that attention. But as a basketball commentator on YouTube, I'm not saying I'm like some professional or anything, but as someone who tries to cover the game of basketball through this YouTube channel, I have to talk about that because most of the people seeing these videos, or most of the people that watch basketball in general, are casual fans. And the way that they consume basketball media is mainly through those talk shows and mainly through those national media sources that are really just covering the game of basketball wrong. I've made videos talking about that. I'm not going to go super in depth with that, but I'll talk about the Twitter side to start off. Earlier today, I tweeted out, why do people hate Giannis? And people left a ton of comments saying why. A lot of people agreed with me that the main reason they hate him is just because he's great. People just hate greatness. We've seen it with LeBron. We see it with guys like James Harden, Kevin Durant, amongst many, many others. There's very few players that people just universally like. In fact, I don't think there's any of them. If you can think of a name, go ahead and drop it in the comments for me below. But I guarantee you, if you do, there's going to be someone out there that's going to be like, nah, I hate that guy. Because, that's just kind of the way that sports works. Everyone's going to have some kind of personal grudge, whether a player beat their team, which is another reason I think a lot of people don't like Giannis, is because he's beat out competition. Giannis, specifically, I know a lot of Rockets and James Harden fans don't like Giannis because he took James Harden's MVP away from him, or, quote, stole it from him in 2019. Giannis was incredible. Giannis deserved that MVP award. If James Harden had won it, he was also very deserving. They were just 2 deserving candidates. I don't know why every MVP has to be that so-and-so stole it from this other person. There are a lot of situations, for example, this year's Rookie of the Year race, where I truly think either one, LaMelo or Anthony Edwards, were deserving. They could have given them co-Rookie of the Years, and I would not have complained because they were both deserving candidates. I don't know why this exists, especially in basketball, where every award is stolen from someone else. Giannis deserved it. He did. And he absolutely deserved his MVP last year, despite going out to the Miami Heat much earlier than the Bucks anticipated going out in the playoffs. It's a regular season award. He deserved that. He deserved his Defensive Player of the Year. I don't care what you say. Giannis deserved those awards. I think that's one of the main reasons is that people think the media and the voters for these awards coddle Giannis, that they treat him above other players or whatever. That's just not true. There are a lot of people who, under that tweet that I made, said, what do you mean? No one hates Giannis. All the media does is coddle him, or all they do is praise him. I don't think we exist in the same universe, if that's what you think that people do for Giannis. And those are probably the people who hate Giannis and therefore only look at the things that show that people are praising him so that they can add on their hate, whatever comment they want to make. Another reason why I saw that people don't like Giannis, and this is one I've seen a million times on my timeline, is that Giannis has no talent. If you think that an NBA player in the best basketball league in the world, the most talented that the league has ever been, the league has never been more talented. I don't think there's any argument against that. You can argue whatever you want about the 90s, 80s. This is the most talented the NBA has ever been. And this guy just won back-to-back MVPs, is a borderline top 5 player, depending on where you put the rankings, and is a defensive player of the year, and is right now the best player on a team that has a pretty good shot to win the finals. You are not all of that without talent. It is not possible. Unless you're like 7'8" and you're like 400 pounds or something, and you're just a wrecking ball that just walks up the court. And even then, you're going to get stripped because you probably can't dribble very well. There is no way Giannis would have gotten to where he is right now without being talented. Does he have a lot of physical gifts? Yes. But one of the stupidest things I see, first of all, if you don't think he has talent, you just don't watch him play basketball. But one of the stupidest things that I see is that people say, oh yeah, where would Giannis be if he was not that tall? Why are we asking that question? It doesn't make any sense. Giannis has tailored his game and developed his game to fit his body. I am 6 feet tall. I'm a guard if I'm playing basketball. So I'm not going to be going into the post and posting up some dude who's like 6'8". It doesn't make sense. It makes sense for me to play on the perimeter, maybe shoot some mid-range jumpers, and if there's a slower defender on me, maybe I can get by him and attack the rim. That's, as a 6-foot guy, that's the way I'm going to play basketball. Giannis is tall as hell, and he's really strong, which, by the way, is something he had to work on. I saw someone else say that Giannis wasn't good until he was strong. Like, you can just destroyed the NBA being like 150 pounds. I'm a Thunder fan. I saw the way Poku played. You need to put on muscle just a little bit, at least in the NBA. But if Giannis was shorter, he would have tailored his game in a completely different manner. For all we know, imagine a universe where Giannis only ended up at like 6'3", like 6'2". He's like a guard, basically. Giannis could have became an incredible three-point shooter because that's what he would have worked on. He could have become a great rebounder because even though he's really tall right now, he has good instincts for where rebounds go. You can see it when he's playing. And he's already a great defensive player. And that isn't just because of his body, it's because he has good fundamentals. You don't block a Kevin Durant jump shot, which he did, by the way, in the regular season without having good defensive fundamentals and a good defensive IQ. Giannis is just a straight up good player and a smart player a lot of the time. Does he take some frustrating shots? Yeah, sometimes. But I guarantee you, if Giannis was like 6 feet tall, his game would be completely different. So making the argument that if he was shorter, he wouldn't be good at basketball doesn't make any sense. Because there's no way to test that. So why is that your argument? And if you hate Giannis because he's tall, how do you not hate like 90% of the NBA? Because the average NBA player is way taller than you and me. Unless you right now are Giannis, in which case, hey Giannis, hit me up on Twitter, drop a follow, slide a jersey this way or something. I guarantee you almost every single NBA player is taller than you and I. So why are you hating people because they're tall? That doesn't make any sense. So those are probably like the main arguments I saw on the tweet. Other ones were that he hasn't performed in the playoffs and he's having a great run. So at this point, I think that's obsolete. He is close to the NBA Finals. I think another reason why some people just aren't rooting for Giannis right now is because they like the Hawks, and that's understandable. The Hawks are an underdog team, and so I get it if you're rooting for the Hawks over the Bucks. That makes perfect sense. It doesn't mean you have to discredit everything Giannis does, though. When the Thunder are playing a team, if we're losing, it makes way more sense to me to praise what the other team did well than to attack like the other team. It doesn't make sense. If I say the other team sucks and they beat us, what does that say about the Thunder? If you are someone who's rooting for the Hawks and Giannis is winning, you're like, oh, well, Giannis has no talent. Then they're currently getting beat up by a guy with no talent. Why is that something you're trying to push as a narrative against the team that you're rooting for? It doesn't make any sense. So those are the main reasons I saw on there. I don't know. I don't think many of those make sense. Giannis is a super humble guy. I saw some stuff saying that he's cocky. He's really not. He has a couple moments like the one where he crowned himself or he sat on the Sixers logo. He's human. Like, he's allowed to show emotion. It makes sense. I get if you're like a Sixers fan and that like rubbed you the wrong way. Maybe I can see that. But honestly, he's just an excited guy. Like I said, he came from humble beginnings. He was not supposed to be here. And so he's just showing his emotion and he's excited to be where he's at. Some people were mad saying that he's cocky in terms of like when they knocked out the Heat, he said, oh, we didn't want to play with our food when they swept them. That's just kind of a cool comment. They got a lot of crap for the way they got beat up by the Heat last year. Giannis deserved that one. Giannis deserved to show some of that like swagger back towards the Heat after all the crap the Heat gave him and the media gave him. And now here's where we move into, great segue by the way, by me, shout out to myself. This is where we move into the media portion of things. And what's really annoying me about the media in terms of Giannis recently is the way that they're talking about his playoff run. Over his last 8 games, shout out to Hoop Central for this tweet, I've got it over here on my phone. Over the last 8 playoff games, Giannis is averaging 32.9 points per game, 12.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 57% shooting from the field. Those are historic, ridiculously dominant numbers. That's insane. Like, there's nothing else I need to add for context to that. It doesn't matter who he's playing. He could have been playing the Thunder, who I know myself were really bad this season. He could have been playing us in all of those games, and if he put up those numbers, I would still say, wow, that's amazing. He's destroying all these narratives that he can't perform in the playoffs. He's doing it all the way right now up until the Eastern Conference Finals, where tonight is Game 4. If they win this game, they're going to go up 3-1 and most likely make the finals. The Bucks could very well win the finals this season, and if Giannis wins a finals, he adds to what is already a stacked resume: 2 MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, multiple All-NBA selections, multiple All-Defensive selections. He is already making a case as a top 25, top 30 player of all time. That should be what we're talking about. We should be talking about how Giannis is establishing himself as an all-time great. Instead, the predominant narrative over the course of these playoffs has been Giannis takes too long to shoot free throws. Are we kidding? That has been the main storyline that people have talked about, is that Giannis takes more than 10 seconds, which is the allotted time you're allowed in the NBA to shoot free throws. Giannis takes more than that to shoot his free throws. It does not matter. Who cares? Why do you care about that? I don't care if a player takes 15. Well, I would care because I would be watching it for a while. But if my player needs to take 15 seconds to shoot a free throw and make it, if they need to take a minute, go for it. Make your free throws. And it's such an arbitrary rule, it does not matter. It doesn't affect the game in the long run. If you want them to call that, then they've also got to start calling every single lane violation that happens, because they happen every 5 seconds. But the reason they don't call that is to have a better product. If Giannis was losing free throws every single time he went to the free throw line, it wouldn't be a great product. If they were calling a lane violation every single time, it wouldn't be a great product for the NBA. So stop. It's not that big of a deal that he's taking like 1 or 2 extra seconds to shoot a free throw. He's already allotted 10 seconds. Chill out. It doesn't matter. Why is that the storyline? It doesn't make sense. And despite all of this great play, he has had some help, of course. Specifically, Chris Middleton last game was incredible. He had a ridiculous fourth quarter, and he was getting hella praise, and he deserves that. Chris Middleton is a guy that doesn't get talked about enough. Chris Middleton deserves more praise in the national media, and guys were going crazy for him, talking about how he's a bucket, how he can be a star on a playoff team and on a contending team. It was cool to see. However, a lot of that Chris Middleton praise came at the expense of Giannis for some reason. It doesn't make sense to me. Specifically, a lot of people were saying that what this game showed, and what quote they've been saying this whole time, which no, they have not, is that Giannis is the Robin to Chris Middleton's Batman, or that Batman, Chris Middleton, is the alpha on this team. Chris Middleton is the... I've seen some people say that Chris Middleton, and let me get this straight. I love Chris Middleton. I'm a big Chris Middleton fan. I've seen some people say that Chris Middleton is better than 2-time MVP and Defensive Player of the Year Giannis Antetokounmpo. Better than him. Not just a better scorer, better than him. Straight up. I love Chris Middleton, but please stop. You got to calm down. The narrative last year was that before Giannis signed his extension was that Giannis needed help. Giannis should leave Milwaukee. He needs help. And now that Giannis chose to stay in Milwaukee, the media's turned on him, and now they're trying to say that, oh, the help that he has is better than him? What are we talking about? I've said it before, the national media, I hate how they cover basketball. I don't understand why we always have to tear down players. And even to compliment a guy's teammate, we've got to tear down Giannis in the process. It doesn't make sense to me. Giannis is really good. I don't get why people hate Giannis. If you hate Giannis, please tell me in the comment section below why. And if you're one of those people, I saw someone comment that Giannis hurt Kyrie Irving on purpose, stepping under his foot in the second round. You and I don't watch the same basketball games. If you think that he hurt him on purpose, Giannis isn't a dirty player. I don't know. I don't understand it. I'm a big fan of Giannis, and I'm rooting for him. If he wins a ring, that would be dope. Let me know if you hate Giannis. I almost said James Harden. Let me know if you hate Giannis in the comment section below. Appreciate you guys watching this video. I'll see you guys later. Real one, say it back.